Welcome, grandparents and family friends, to CHCH. My name is Lance Conrad, and I am the head of school here in Waltham. I want to take a few moments to let you know about what we've been up to at CHCH this year, in particular this spring. We are about 5 weeks away from commencement exercise for our 193rd graduating class, and we are really excited that our seniors have been able to reach this point in their journey. And it certainly has been an incredible journey. There is no doubt that this year has challenged the school and our faculty and staff, and certainly our students and even our parents in unimaginable ways. And the operable word, I think, on campus has been pivot. We've been pivoting all year to reimagine the way we teach and learn. Throughout the year, we've been blessed to have 80% of our students on campus, in person, learning each and every day, and about 20% remote learners. So that hybrid model has really asked our educators to reimagine their pedagogy, to be able to teach to students both in the classroom and all around the world remotely at the same time. And that learning for our educators has been incredible, but also really exciting. With every challenge, there are opportunities, and certainly this has been a year of wonderful opportunities seized and leveraged. We have, in terms of safety, campus safety and protocols, we've been able to manage with in-person on-campus learning on our 42-acre beautiful campus because of our space. With 176 students this year, we've been able to reopen a closed academic building and spread our classrooms out, keep our social distancing, maintaining 100% face coverings all the time since last early summer. And our students have done an outstanding job at that. And it has allowed us to keep open throughout the school year and not have to close the doors. With the exception of maybe 1 or 2 snow days that we pivoted to remote learning days, it has been a great year that we've not been able to keep open. Now, I will say that we've had to put in some extra safety protocols. For instance, coming back from summer vacation, Thanksgiving break, winter break, and even spring break, we did have universal COVID-19 testing throughout the campus for all community members, students, faculty, staff, campus residents, and their families. And that has been a key element in order to make sure that we have been safe and in following all of our safety protocols and guidelines. So I'm really pleased that we've gotten to this point in the school year. It's amazing. It's been over a year that the school has been adjusting our operations due to the global health pandemic. And I'm really pleased where we're at. Now, today is an opportunity for me to say thank you to grandparents and family friends for all of your support for your children and your grandchildren, and knowing that that learning and education has been number one priority in all of our lives, and not to short shift that in any shape and way. And also an opportunity to introduce you a little bit more to the school and to some of the movers and shakers that make this place go. Certainly not me, but I'm really happy to introduce a few others. Before I do that, what I'd like to do is actually take a moment to introduce program directors, but through the lens of our campus. So we're going to take a short minute to watch a short video that was created through our drive-through open house that we did earlier in the year. And that's going to tell you a little bit more about CHCH and our new Visual and Performing Arts Center in particular. And then you'll see that our program directors will come on board and introduce themselves after that. So thank you very much for joining us today. It is great to see you virtually, and I really hope that you enjoy this segment. Thank you. So you're now on the Chapel Hill Chauncey Hall School campus. The campus is where Chapel Hill School for Girls began back in 1860. That's 160 years ago. And in 1828, Chauncey Hall, an all-boys finishing school in Boston from downtown Crossing, was founded. Those two schools merged in 1971 and became a co-ed institution right here on this campus to form CHCH as we know it today. CHCH is a college prep day and boarding school for grades 9 through 12. Usually about half our students live here on campus and half come from about 38 local communities. CHCH is one of the most diverse independent schools in Massachusetts, with students hailing from all around the country and all around the world. Usually about 8 different countries are represented in a given year. Our motto at CHCH is "We teach the way students learn." This means that our entire curriculum is designed to meet students where they are, to teach engaging lessons both in and out of the classroom, all to reach our goal of allowing students to achieve their full potential. Now let's start the drive-through tour by learning a little bit more about the building behind me.
You were in front of our newly renovated Visual and Performing Arts Center, or as we call it, the Barn. The Barn is an historic building that was completely renovated in spring 2020. Inside, you'll see our gallery, makerspace, wood shop, music rooms, pottery studio, theater, digital arts lab, and many flexible spaces for making art. Every student at CHCH takes 2 years of visual art and or performing arts classes, and the arts are tied into many of our other classes as well. Whether it's a history class, making a museum exhibit about Black history, or an anatomy class using the makerspace to create 3D knees and demonstrate movement, the arts allow students to explore and take risks and create.
Greetings from Atwood on the north side of campus here. I am Kelly Walsh, the director of 9th and 10th grade programs, and it's great to be with you today. In addition to being the program director for 9th and 10th grade, I also teach a section of World Civilization 1, our history course for 9th graders. I'm a 9th grade advisor, and I also live on campus, and it has been so wonderful this spring trimester to have our campus community back with us and to have the dorms open. It was a very quiet place without the students living in the dorms, and it's been wonderful to have them all back. And as Dr. Conrad said, we have all been staying healthy and enjoying our in-person learning despite the changes that we've had to adapt to. We have had to change some of the delivery of our material. We don't have quite the same flexibility for group work or for little clusters and for presentations, but the students are still connecting and engaging with the content and with their teachers, and it has been a terrific year. I'd like to share some academic highlights, one from the 9th grade and one from the 10th grade, just to give you a sense of how teachers have been working through the challenges of this year and still keeping students engaged. Our 9th grade science class is a physical science and engineering class that uses the design challenge model that comes out of NASA. And they do lots of projects throughout the year. We've done mousetrap cars, we've done all sorts of things. The mousetrap cars were lots of fun, but in particular, we do an egg drop. And you may have seen an egg drop challenge along the way, but the egg drop was great because it allowed even our remote students, it uses very simple materials, but even our remote students were able to engage and show their egg surviving a fall from a distance. Here on campus, we happened to do it in the midst of our snowy February, and I must say many eggs survived thanks to the piles of snow that they fell into from the fire escapes. But it was a great opportunity for students to get outside and to do some real learning and have some fun with their science. In 10th grade, we take a very thematic approach to our history course, which is World Civilization 2. And this year, in many of our World Civ 2 classes, the students explored Trevor Noah's memoir, Born a Crime, to better understand the history of apartheid in South Africa. This book is fabulous if you haven't been exposed to it or read it yourself. And I had the opportunity to join some conversations with our 10th grade students where they really could dive into the material. And through the memoir, they were gaining the experience of a teenager, someone who was going out and learning about life himself while living history. And those discussions can happen whether you're 6 feet apart or only 2 feet apart, or whether you're on the computer or you're in person. And our history teachers have done a really great job of continuing to have these deep discussions and conversations with our students about important topics. And I think it's safe to say that all of the 10th graders really enjoyed that winter unit. Of course, it's been challenging this year that we haven't been able to gather in large groups as we typically do for class meetings or assemblies. But I really want to highlight our class deans who have done a wonderful job finding ways to make community and build community, even when we're scattered in classrooms around campus or on our computers. We were able to run a version of our winter carnival, which was certainly a highlight of the winter. Didn't have quite the same competitive nature that it sometimes has, but students were engaged, having fun, getting to know each other. And we had some wonderful banners, a couple of skits, and it was a great break in the winter trimester. We're also diving into some fairly serious topics in our student life assemblies and advisory conversations. And my colleague's going to address a little bit more of that, but we challenge our students to have conversations and to think about life around them, not just the books they're reading. So it has been a wonderful year to this point, and we are thrilled to be able to share some highlights with you today. And now I'd like to turn it over to my colleague.
Thank you, Kelly. Hello and welcome, grandparents and family friends. My name is Ben Riggs. I'm the director of 11th and 12th grade programs at CHCH. With all the social and emotional strife that's been swirling for our students, it's been very important, perhaps more now than ever, to make sure that our programming is responsive to our students' experiences and to the moment that we find ourselves in. In addition to the grade level deans that Kelly highlighted, I wanted to make sure that I took a moment to acknowledge and highlight our student life team led by our Director of Health Services, Kenna Weber, and our Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Nikki Turpin, because they brought a renewed sense of purpose and leadership to our work in this area this year, and have helped to lead all school presentations and workshops on a variety of topics that are timely and are really important to our community. That includes the Black Lives Matter movement, civics, voting rights and democracy around the election in the fall, and general topics in mental health and community wellness have really risen to the top of our student life programming. That curriculum has engaged in a number of timely workshops, presentations, and conversations that have addressed these issues head on and allowed our students the opportunity to collaborate with their peers and also teachers and trusted adults and ask and answer and grapple with difficult questions, share personal experiences, celebrate excellence in underrepresented communities, and bring marginalized voices to the forefront. So some of those activities and student life workshops have included student-led presentations during Hispanic Heritage Month in October, a community read, which was a really wonderful experience of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s letter from a Birmingham jail in January, a consideration of Valentine's Day through an LGBTQ and multicultural lens that was really engaging and interesting for our students in February, as well as a student-led workshop and celebration of Lunar New Year in the same month, which was really fun. We also just came out of the end of the winter trimester where we were celebrating Women's History Month in March with a number of activities. And just this past month, talking about, talking about the rise in violence and hate toward the Asian American community and putting that in its proper historical context and helping students to grapple with that really challenging topic. So, these are just a handful of examples of the way in which our community has approached and will continue to approach these really important pressing questions of equity and social justice. And, in addition to them grappling with that in our student life curriculum, we see those topics making their way into our regular curriculum in our classrooms. So that, those questions of social justice really form the backbone of that work with students in the classroom in the 11th and 12th grade year, especially. And we see our juniors engaging in an array of courses and experiences that really challenge them to think critically about the world that they're inheriting. Certainly the pandemic has forced us to approach these courses and projects in ways that we had never imagined just a year ago. But it's been really inspiring to see the ways in which our students and teachers have embraced that challenge and forged ahead and have delivered the curriculum in engaging ways despite the challenges of distance and masks and so forth. So some examples of that have been our virtual art shows, our virtual dramatic performances, our 11th grade US history students' construction of a Museum of African American History in our beautiful new barn gallery space, to our all school senior presentations where we've seen seniors really take the things that they're learning in the classroom and in these student life activities and bring their own sort of personal experiences to the fore for our whole community to listen to. So that has been really inspiring for all of us as teachers, And we're going to continue to be energized this spring. Right now, in the month of April, we're engaging with all school activities like our Senate simulation, student-led community day workshops, National Poetry Month. So it's, that energy has continued into the spring, and we're really looking forward to a fun conclusion to the school year, where students are really able to do a lot of that collaborative work together. And we're going to move on to hear from our Director of College Counseling, Brooke Fink. But before we hear from her, we're going to just take a moment to take a look at another video from our drive-through open house that showcases our skills and academic support program for our students here at CHCH.
Hi, I'm Casey American Horse. I'm the 9th grade class dean and I'm the history teacher at CHCH. Behind me we have the cottage. The cottage is home base to our 9th grade classes. The small classes and home-like atmosphere make it a great place for 9th graders to start. The cottage is also home to our skills and academic support program, which we call SAS. SAS is an optional class built into the school day for our students where they work on skill building and go in-depth on their work. SAS teachers balance the class time working on executive functioning skills like time management, organization, and giving students the tools they need to apply this to their current work. SAS is just one example of our focus on supporting students at CHCH. All students and parents at CHCH receive a weekly progress note that gives a weekly personal update from each of the students' teachers in every class. Students read and make an action plan with their advisors. This ensures that everyone knows student progression and the work that is being done, so there are no surprises.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Brooke Fink. I'm the Director of College Counseling at Chapel Hill Chauncey Hall School. Part of our philosophy in the college counseling process here is really centered on authenticity, simplicity, and sanity. This can be a process that is rife with anxiety, and it's our hope and our emphasis to really dismantle that for students and allow them to engage in something where they have autonomy and feel really represented and get to know themselves in the process. So we work with students and families to find the right fit for their post-secondary education. And that is really the most central element to this process. Everything that we do is centered around finding that fit. And that means engaging in true introspection and continuing the work that we do in the classroom that you've already heard about, not just to teach the way students learn, but to help students understand how they learn and what environments, cultures, communities, and academic disciplines contribute to a successful and exciting learning experience for them. That is, of course, what we hope they're going to continue to do when they go on to college. So it's a student-driven process with tremendous individual support and collaboration from all the constituents involved. And we're really proud of finding that right fit in a very diverse range of programs for our students. To give you an idea, last year, the class of 2020, 42 students applied to 189 different colleges and were accepted to 128 different colleges. Those 42 students chose 40 different colleges to enroll in. So really, again, emphasizing finding that fit and making sure that that fit is authentic to that student. 71 different colleges made it into students' top choices. So that gives you an idea of really how seriously they're taking this process and how hard they're working to get to know themselves over the 4 years they're in high school. This year, our seniors faced an incredible challenge in the college process, both because of limitations in their ability to really get to campuses and research colleges in person, and also with issues around standardized testing, whether it was accessibility to testing or the role that testing was going to play in the process. Almost all four-year colleges in the United States made tests an optional requirement for students in the college process. And even with that, our students thought really critically about what was going to be an important role that testing might play for them. They did a fantastic job. They rose to all of these challenges. And as Dr. Conrad mentioned earlier, they really embraced the word pivot and engaged in that work to find their best fit. So far, this year's class applied 52 students, sent 408 applications to 194 different colleges. And so far, our students have been accepted to 123 different colleges. Decisions are coming in a little bit later this year as everything has been pushed just a tad, But so far, we're seeing that students are choosing more regionally based programs depending on where they're from. And I think that has a lot to do with the current circumstances, but also a credit to students' real understanding of what's important to them in the process. I love talking about the college process and would love to kind of engage each of you on, and as your families have explored this on their own. But before we send you off into the next step, there's one more video just to round out your campus experience and tour. It features our gym and Wilkins Hall. Please enjoy.
Hello, I'm Nate Edwards-Rosny. I'm a junior here, and I am from Sudbury. And to your left is the Beaver Gym. The gym houses our basketball courts and fitness centers. Make sure to notice all those new championship banners. We're even running out of space. One great aspect of the athletic program is that our coaches are also our teachers. This allows our students to build a real connection with their coaches and work with them inside of the classroom as well. School spirit is strong for the Chargers. You can see this in our pep rallies or during our annual Charger Classic basketball tournaments, which both boys and girls teams won last year. There is a sport and a team for everyone at CHCH. We offer 13 varsity and JV sports and have won 13 league championships in the past 3 years.
Straight ahead is Wilkins Hall, one of our main academic buildings on campus. This houses our science labs, many flexible classroom spaces, our English language learner classes, and also houses one of the oldest spiral staircases in New England. The classes and schedule at CHCH are designed to mimic college. We have longer classes, 75 minutes, that allow for more interactive demonstrations and engaging discussions. The teachers hold office hours where students can stop by the classroom during the school day to get help on a topic or to just talk.
Hope you enjoyed that final video. I want to take a quick moment now to say thank you. Thank you for joining us for this virtual grandparents and family friends event. Now, there's no doubt that we much rather have you on campus and see you in person and host you and show you the school environs and see what the kids are doing firsthand. And we plan on doing that next year. So we hope that you will join us next year for our grandparent lunch and learn event. And that'll happen in our newly renovated Visual and Performing Arts Center that you saw earlier in the video. We're really, really proud of that teaching and learning space that is being transformational in its endeavors each and every day with our students. I also would like to take a moment to invite you to our very special Spring Gala this year, which is a virtual event, so you can participate no matter where you are in the world. And it's called Educated Taste, and it's going to be featuring celebrity chef Jet Tila. For those of you that are Food Network buffs, you may know Jet Tila, and he's going to be challenging one of our students in a cook-off, and it'll be a great way to bring the community together for some fun and evening excitement. And that will be on Friday, April 30th, and we do hope that you can join us. With that, I thank you very much for joining us, and I wish you adieu.